In effect, 2027 general election campaign has begun. And what are the choices before Nigerians? What should Nigerians be expecting? A campaign of ideas, of weeds, of concepts of how to take this nation forward, or just the sheer regurgitation of old ideas and issues relating to just politicking. But let's get talking. Yesterday we saw the signing of the peace accord, and there are a lot of debates coming out of it. Tonight I'm being joined by the national chairman of PRP, Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed is our guest tonight on the program. It's a pleasure having you join us tonight on the program.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Thank you for inviting me.
You're already feeling the heat. You're looking like the stress of the game, even when the game has not effectively started.
Well, yes, I admit that. But it's not easy. Attempting to steer an opposition party under the circumstances and taking on a juggernaut, APC, is not a small thing. Until now, you would say we are a fringe party. We are trying to move from the margins to the center and put ourselves in a position where we can actually provide an alternative to the APC. That is not a small job. The job is compounded by so many challenges. Some coming directly from the ruling party, some from the bureaucracy and the judiciary, some coming from INEC. So it's very difficult to sleep with your eyes closed. I admit it's tough, but ultimately it's worth it. This country needs people who believe that there's a future for it, who would work towards that future and explore every avenue, including self-sacrifice, to give our children some hope that they don't have to live in the world that we've seen in the last 5, 10, 15 years.
So it's actually going to be a tough one to unseat the APC.
It will be. Anybody who tells you...
But is that possible?
Absolutely. But it's not going to be easy.
But can it happen in 2027?
Yes. Certainly.
But there are those who think that the only way it can happen is all of you in opposition come together with a united front. That's the only way.
Well, there is some merit in that position. Let me remind you, in the news here, just before we started this program, I saw the newly sworn in again governor of Osun State speak in a very confident, very comfortable manner. APC was trounced in Osun, and we didn't even see a coalition or collaboration or a gang up against the APC. Parties all competed against each other, and yet APC was defeated. Now, all sorts of arguments can be made. People say this is an off-season election, this is unusual. We've even had stories that there was a deal between President Tinubu and the governor for the president to support Adeleke from emerging as governor, and then Adeleke in turn supports President Tinubu. We don't believe that. We believe that the ruling party, Accord Party, defeated APC comprehensively, and there's no reason why this cannot repeat itself at a national level. We are working hard. Parties will collaborate in some form.
But there may not be any coalition.
Well, I think, strictly speaking, when you use the word coalition, it implies some kind of legal and structural collapsing of boundaries. And it's a bit late for that. The INEC has registered all of us as individual parties. It's difficult to coalesce around anything. But there are all sorts of other relationships and alliances that can be built. And we're looking at all the options that are available. This time next month, I think Nigerians would see the emergence of quite possibly a phenomenon that promises to be promising. It will take efforts, It will take a lot of give and take, but we believe it is feasible. And beyond that, we actually believe that it is absolutely essential.
What makes it difficult to beat Bola Tinubu and the APC?
Oh. Many things. APC is not a party. It's a monster eating itself up and eating everybody up. You have a party that has a president who is quite possibly the most powerful president, or a president who has given himself, or has been given by the people around him, the most awesome powers to do anything he wants to do, including the National Assembly. You have a president who believes that he must have all the power around him, and he appears to have garnered 32 governors. 32.
31.
31.
As at the last count.
Yes, okay, 31. Thank God.
You almost counted Oshun.
Yes,
but they lost Oshun.
I'm glad you corrected me there. And quite possibly about 75% of the National Assembly, members of the National Assembly, around him, in his party. And he's still uncomfortable. He's still living in fear that it's not enough.
But that structure is politically monstrous.
It is a monster. It's monstrous. But if they believe this is the only way in which they can win an election, by gathering and garnering everybody into into their corners, they are welcome.
But isn't that what you would have wished for if you were leading the APC?
Well, if I didn't ask everybody to ditch their mandates, if I didn't have to convince people one way or the other to abandon the people who voted for them, if I didn't have to promise heaven and hell and earth, if I didn't have to bribe politicians with being re-elected, I would say yes. If people are attracted by our party's achievements, not figures, not statistics, real achievements.
So the movement into the APC is not organic as far as you're concerned?
No, it's not. It's mechanical, and it is designed, and it is very, very damaging to this country's democracy.
If you were in their shoes, would you have said the same thing?
Whose shoes?
APC.
Like I said, if it's part of a design in which I'm part of, and thank God I'm not part of that. I peeped in briefly in the party and walked out, and I'm glad I did. But if I was in the APC, I wouldn't say we need 31 governors, the National Assembly, some elements of the judiciary, some support from INEC. I would say that is not the way to do it.
Is it the force of the ruling party that is expanding in scope, or the force of the opposition that is not able to withstand its ground?
It's its fault if it creates an environment that makes it relatively easy for politicians to walk from their side of the divide to it. If you have to promise immunity, if you have to promise almost near certainty that governors will get tickets back irrespective of whether they perform well, if you have to induce National Assembly members with coming back again for their seats, I don't want to impute other interests that I have no evidence for. But look, this is an unnatural, unusual, and then potentially dangerous situation we have. But you want to say that this is normal, a party that is popular among politicians, not among the people, among politicians, the party to whom everybody is running. You have to ask questions. What are these people running to the APC for? What has happened since 2023 to make Tinubu and his government so attractive to politicians and everybody else, when 2, 3, 4 years ago, APC, nobody would have sworn that the APC that Buhari left would even breathe in this country. Buhari left a very bad record. Tinubu took over and plunged the country into deeper crisis. His first 1 year, I have no doubt there must have been millions of Nigerians who said, if we knew this is what this man would do, announce the removal of subsidy without a backup plan, do all these major policies, monetary and fiscal policies, promise heaven and hell by throwing us into, promise heaven by throwing us into hell and promising that hell will freeze over and will become heaven. This is what the president did.
I mean, you are the inference I get from what you are saying is that Nigeria is worse than it used to be 3 years ago.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But the IMF says that the macroeconomic resilience has improved. The government is saying the reforms are working. But in the very same assessment, it says that poverty has reached 63% on Nigeria's national poverty line, and there are estimated 27 million Nigerians facing food insecurity. That is late of 2025. But if you look at it, and the government of the day, the Minister of Finance, the Budget Minister, Minister of Information, they were telling Nigerians that there are no alternatives, there are no options. This is the best route. The government is, and the Nigerian people, they are being taken on the right path. What alternative? What would you have said or do as the chairman of the PRP, or what program do you have that can counter what the APC says is the best way out for Nigeria? In fact, the APC has described Bola Tinubu as a messiah, as a man who has come to alleviate the poverty and the pains of Nigeria. And as the pains is going, the gains are here, according to the APC.
The APC is a fantastic praise singer. Praise singer would look at a naked man and say he's the best dressed person in the world. What else do you expect them to say? That the president is not in touch with reality? That the president prefers to dish out IMF figures? And look at you just said it.
And you said
the same IMF said the macroeconomic outlook is good, and then it says 63% of Nigerians are living under poverty line, under the poverty line. For goodness sake,
that's on the macroeconomic side.
Yeah, that's on the macroeconomic, but you're talking about human beings. The figures, when you hear these kind of figures, people who know how Nigerians live. And you see, I can tell you now, to be honest, when I saw these ministers lining up to say to Mr. President Rankai Dede, you're the best president this country have ever had, I am convinced now, more than any other time, I don't think these ministers go home. I don't think they're in touch with people. I don't think if they do, it is to go in for an hour or two and come out.
But you said, Dr. Baba Ahmed, that Buhari left Nigeria in a terrible state.
Yes.
But Tinubu said he's fixing it.
Yes.
What would you have done differently?
I would have taken stock of the situation. There's no law that says you have to hit the ground running. You certainly shouldn't do what Buhari did, wait for 6 months and then do nothing. What you do, Tinubu had enough background. This is one of the things that we thought was going to change the game plan. Tinubu had a lot of time to look at, study Buhari, including Buhari's resistance against him, and ask himself, why does this man think I won't make a good president? Why does Buhari not like me? The last minute, the man is campaigning against me. And you would think he would study Buhari very well and say, this is the direction I'm going. I need to address corruption. I need to address the rising insecurity at that time, which it was now. I need to give Nigerians some hope. I need to assure Nigerians that we don't need to go this way. But he didn't. He now announces a major policy shift without necessarily studying the context of that policy.
Because they say criticism is easy, governing is harder. Now we are getting into the campaign period, and there are those who will be asking, so if you say Bola Tinubu has left Nigeria worse off than he met it in 2023, what would you have done? The question is that, why do you want to paint Bola Tinubu as the worst president ever? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, it is. Do you know anybody who is worse than him? Look, let's go back to 1999. Buhari was a bad president. You could say Buhari came to power with very little knowledge about economics, with very little responsibility for being an elected president. He knew absolutely nothing about being accountable.
Can you?
Tinubu was governor of Lagos State, let me remind you, for 8 years. Do you know when he took on Obasanjo? I was then in the government, and I saw him take on Obasanjo in a very vicious fight that lasted close to a year. And he stood his ground, and he won in the end. He won in the end.
So how would you then describe that man as the worst president ever?
Well, he wasn't the president then, he was the governor.
I'm telling you now,
after
that
8
kind
years,
of character, that kind of profile that you described now, you transpose it into
I'm
the
talking
seat
about
of the
a character. I'm not talking about a record. I'm talking about a man who was governor for 8 years, then spent that period from 2007 to date, just simply, according to him, just simply preparing presidents and presidents and presidents. And then finally he says in 2023, listen, Emil Locon, this is my turn. You would have thought, okay, the man is now ready to provide the leadership. The leadership he helped to create, the leadership he helped, he donated to other people. He says, no, hold it. Now the big masquerade is going to dance. It didn't. He pushed the country into the deep end on his first day.
Tinubu hasn't danced yet. The festival is almost over.
3.5 years? What do you want him to do? Is he still warming up?
You don't think that the NEL Fund is not a dancing of some sort?
No, the NEL Fund is exactly
the
what a
external
government...
reserve is not a dancing of
what
some
is
sort?
the external? What is the point of an external reserve if it absolutely makes no sense in the manner in which people live, to poverty levels, to crumbling economies? I come from the northern part of the country, Sheikh. There's absolutely no industry, including agriculture, that is thriving.
So you think the North is poorer than it was before now?
Absolutely.
Would that be a punishment for Tinubu and his government?
Yeah, well, who else should we hold responsible? His governors, all the governors hiding behind him, lining
up. But the governors got more money, courtesy of Tinubu's policy.
Yes, but Tinubu is also responsible for that. He says, I've made trillions and trillions and trillions, Nigerians, and that money is with governors. And who are with the governors? With Tinubu. And Tinubu could say to them, they're in the same room now, all waiting for 2027. Tinubu could say, Governor so and so, your people are complaining. But Tinubu doesn't listen to people in states. He listens to his ministers in the villa. He doesn't listen to anybody. He listens a few statistics sometimes, if they're good, from the IMF or World Bank, he likes. The rest of it, he doesn't.
The president as someone who is detached from reality.
Absolutely. I've said so many times. And I have no hesitation in saying so. He is thoroughly detached from the reality.
If you are putting up some of these campaign against President Bola Tinubu and the APC, there are those who will say he's very popular in the North. He's a son of the South. He's got tentacles and hands across the Niger. He's gotten a huge handshake and he's kept them. And there are those who say with 31 governors, huge presence in the National Assembly, the monster that you have described in Bola Tinubu and the APC is unsurmountable.
Governors are not the people. Governors were elected by people, they abandoned the people, and they went and camped in Tinubu's
If Tinubu faced the disaster of a kind of support that he didn't get in 2023 from the heavyweight in his party and the economy policy that almost gave him a bad chance in 2023, and now he's a president and he's got all of the indices at his disposal. You think this is the time that he will lose the election?
I'm not sure he's got all the indices. He's got figures and statistics which can be manufactured. In any case, the real truth, the best way to verify this is not to look at figures and statistics. They must translate in the way real human beings live.
So you think there's no pathway for Tinubu winning?
No. And if it's a credible, free and fair election, I assure you, Tinubu would lose. No, I won't say before 12 noon. Maybe before 4 p.m. in the evening.
When all the KKK's results are in. The Kano, the Katsina, the Kebbi. But on the final note, some of your friends are not there. Bola Tinubu was not there at the signing of the peace accord. Atiku was not there too.
Yeah.
Does that process have any teeth at all?
I would always speak about President Tinubu. If I was President Tinubu, I would be at that event yesterday for so many reasons. One, just 2 weeks ago, Tinubu was defending INEC. He was saying, no, INEC hasn't done anything wrong in public. INEC has done incredibly well.
Is there anything wrong in that?
Yes. The president should not defend INEC. He appoints in conjunction with the National Assembly.
What does that defend?
Nobody should praise INEC until it could actually conduct an election in which the president is a contestant.
Is there any implication of the president defending INEC?
Yes.
What does it mean?
It is wrong, it is unbecoming, and it's unnecessary. And all it does is that it creates this idea that the president is quoting the goodwill of INEC. It's wrong.
Does it mean he's in control of INEC?
I say quoting their goodwill, which is not right. He doesn't. I wouldn't say he's controlling.
You have a feeling that the election might be somewhat manipulated with the inference that you are making.
I hope the elections will be credible, free, and fair.
If it's not?
If it's not, this is very serious. If it's not, I foresee a very serious threat to Nigeria's democracy. There are people out there, there are millions who are very, very angry. They desperately want an opportunity to express their anger in the ballot, through their ballot, and it is very important that we allow them. We allow them to exercise that right. That's very important. Play around with that thing, and you are playing around with the future of this country.
Dr. Akim Ahmed is the national chairman of PRP. Such a pleasure having you again on the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
I'm hoping to see you and your party, especially your presidential candidate, Donald Duke, on the field.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
I wish you the best.
Thank you.